Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a new book that I just finished reading yesterday, and that is The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And what's special about this book is that it's not your conventional book about leveling up and self-help. It's kind of like a strategy guide to um, level up in a room, appear higher in the room, appear like somebody with more authority and more presence, I would say. This book is different from Mastery because Mastery is more like tangible to most people who want to pursue a passion that they care about and want to feel happy in. Whereas this book, it's more like strategies, like kind of like tips, like advices that you would give somebody in a particular situation, especially if they want to be perceived more powerful and more leveled up. So that's the big difference from those two books. And also in this book, there are definitely laws that I don't agree with because the thing about this book is that it's not like your typical chapter book, it's more like sections. So if you were to open up a history book about the amendments, you would read all the sections of each amendment. And that's kind of like this book, but with just laws of power that the author created from his own mind. So what's good about this book is going to be three laws that I'm going to mention, and there's more that are good, but I'm going to just mention the ones that stand out to me, also because I'm not trying to make this video too long. So um, there are also laws that I'd be very careful following, and like, okay, so one in particular is um, take credit of other people, like if you're working in a team, like take credit of others. That's something that I definitely be careful with. Plagiarism can be unlawful these days, so that's definitely something where you want to cite your sources and not really just take the work of other people um, just as is. Like it's that sort of thing where it's like be mindful of how you take this information when he talks about it because it can be misconstrued to something that's not that shouldn't be done, honestly. And yeah, there's so many laws here that I actually have the book with me to help me remember all of these. And yeah, like I said, like you just don't want to take these too literal, because there's another one where it's like crush your enemy totally, and it's like, okay, if you're thinking about power, you don't want to just be perceived as this tyrannical looking person that's crazy. Like, you want to be perceived as powerful because you hold a more dominant skill compared to others. So that's like an obvious way you would show power. So it's not like by literally crushing people and destroying lives, it's like just be really good at what you do to stand out from the rest. So it's also like looking at it in different ways, but one of the laws that I really resonate with is the first one, which is never outshine your master. This works very well when you're like starting your first job, and in any team setting. Honestly, anything that requires a team setting, you don't want to shy too much, especially around the wrong people that are going to be envious, that are going to want to knock you down a peg and completely remove you from the team, you know. And I would understand to the degree that's like, well, what do you mean I shouldn't shine? Like, what if I'm just naturally gifted? Like, it's gonna stand out, right? Well, you are right, but it's also the way you present yourself. You can be really good at something, but not be arrogant, but not be too cocky, to not showboat, to not rub it in people's faces. It's better to be very talented, but very humble, you know. And it kind of coincides with another law, like don't appear too perfect. I believe that's law 46. Yeah, never appear too perfect. So it's just that sort of thing. And then there's the second law that I want to talk about is never put too much trust in your friends. Learn how to use your enemies. And this is a really good one because sometimes when you're starting something new, people will often be too nice, too kind. They'll sugarcoat things. They won't tell you the hard truth that you need to hear in order to like level up and grow up and mature. And when you are around people who kind of go against the grain that way and like tell you what you really need to hear even though it hurts at first, those are the people that you want to be around. And that's what he refers to as enemies, but it's not that dramatic. It can just literally be like if you have a family member who feels like a bully, but like it's like telling you the truth of what you need to hear to like level up. So, you know, it's like think of David Goggins, you know, like kind of like the way where he's like, oh, like, you know, I was like overweight. And I'm saying this much nicer than he is, but it's like, oh, like I'm overweight. Like I need to go get up and run and lose some weight and do this and that, you know, that sort of thing. Like, and sometimes people need somebody to say those things to like keep you in accountability to like actually improve. So that's the way I would say it, shorthanded. And the last law that I want to focus on, to not make this video too long, is, let's see, was law number 5. So much depends on your reputation. Guard it with your life. So reputation is one of those things that is very, very important. Like if you see famous people who are like no longer talked about because they did something really bad or illegal, just think of it like that. Like if you ruin your reputation, people aren't going to trust you. You're not going to have opportunities, especially if it's something regarding something illegal where you're putting time in prison. Like your reputation is just so important. It's so important. That is part of the recipe to success. And whatever it is, like legal court battles or drama that didn't need to escalate, it's always important to think of your reputation as something very valuable, because it literally is the bridge between success and not having as many opportunities. Because maybe you can have some or very few limited opportunities if you do mess up in life, but depending on the severity, you may not even get that chance with certain things at all, like never again. So that is my take on the 48 Laws of Power. I highly recommend this book, 9 out of 10, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.